Joe King coached at RPI football for 22 years, stepped down in 2010. Isn't that long ago? Wow, 718 winning percentage. That's really all you need to know. The man just won games, did it the right way, class all the way, and we miss our relationship with Joe King, and we welcome him to Big Board Sports on 104.5 The Team, ESPN Radio. Good morning, Coach King.
Good morning, Roger. How
you
doing?
Been, buddy?
Good.
Yeah.
I'm ready for spring, but might be rushing a little bit.
So what are you doing with yourself in the retirement mode? And obviously I've been coaching since 2010.
Well, I try to play as much golf as I can, and I'd like to tell you that I've gotten a lot better, but that's not the case. But I do get out when I can, and got a couple granddaughters that spend as much time with us as possible. So, not real busy, but busy enough.
All right, let's get to the main reason, in addition to getting caught up with you a little bit, is the guy that played and coached for you, Matt Patricia, was named the new head coach of the Detroit Lions. Talk about Patricia a little bit, Coach, and how you think he'll do going from the coordinator role to a head coach. Okay, well,
Matt, played at RPI back in the early 90s, and Bobby Jojo and I recruited him. Bobby was our offensive coordinator at the time, and we went out to visit Matt and his family, and there was another player, Travis Kroll, that we visited out there also. It was a good trip because we got both of them. Matt was an offensive lineman for us, a center and a guard, and ended up being a good player. Didn't start right away, but did a lot of work in the off season and prepared himself. When he graduated, he stayed on and got his started working toward his master's degree, and was an assistant coach for us.
How good of a football player was he?
He was a good player, but he wasn't good enough to come in and play right as a freshman. I mean, some do, but most of them don't, at least back then.
Coach, through 22 years at RPI, I don't know how many players you would say are memorable. From what you do remember about Matt, not just as a player, but as kind of a football mind, especially as he was a grad assistant with you in '96. What kind of football mind did Matt Patricia have? And do you remember him expressing early interest to you about wanting to be a coach?
I don't remember that. You could tell that he really enjoyed it. I mean, part of it was he was playing for, the guy that coached him, Ray Moran, and they got along very, very well. I mean, you could see that if he wanted to be a coach, that 1 year that he was with us, he certainly could do that. He was, passionate, put in long hours. I mean, all the things that people talk about today, we could see in that 1 year. But you get a degree from RPI in aeronautical engineering. You're going to go out and use that degree and make some money. That's what we thought he was going to do.
When you look at Matt Patricia, does he have all the ingredients? Because, look, he was highly sought of and sought after, and the Giants certainly were very interested. But he got a great relationship with the GM in Detroit, and I think when it comes to that, and you're getting into this for the first time as a head coach, you want to make sure you're rock solid with your boss and with Bob Quinn in Detroit. I think he feels pretty comfortable with it. Does he have all the intangibles to be a good head coach for the Detroit Lions?
Well, I certainly hope so. People have asked me that, and I think he's got a tremendous background, especially having worked with Bill Belichick for as long as he has. I don't know if you can work in a better organization to prepare yourself to be a head coach. But until you're a head coach, it's different. I mean, there are a lot of great position coaches or coordinators out there, and then they go on and not necessarily make out well. But if I was a betting man, which I'm not, but I would certainly expect Matt to be successful.
Former RPI head coach Joe King with us here on Big Board Sports 104.5 The Team, ESPN Radio. Coach, when you say there's just that difference between being an assistant to the head coach, what is it even that you noticed when you became a head? Is it the pressure? Is it the multiple responsibilities you now have? Is it finding a way to delegate those responsibilities to people you think can handle them? What do you feel is the biggest difference between being an assistant and maybe being specialized and then being the head coach and kind of the patriarch of it all?
Well, I think it's all of the above, all the things that you mentioned. As a head coach, the biggest thing that you need to try to do is to get everybody pulling in the same direction. And, there are a lot of egos involved, even, on the college level, but, even more so on the pro level. And you got to get them to, forget about that. I mean, it's hard enough to win anyway. I mean, you need to be totally together. And everybody's got to understand, where you're coming from, and you need to be consistent as a head coach. You can't be one guy one day and somebody else the next. And, if they know what to expect from you, and then, you make it very clear what you expect from them, then I think you can be successful. And I know Matt understands that.
Will you reach out to Matt? Will you have any conversations with the new head coach of the Lions?
Well, I hope to. I heard from him the day of the championship game. He just sent me a quick message saying that, I had wished him good luck, and he responded to it, and he said that, he had some things to figure out at that point in time, and I knew what he was talking about. And then I sent him out something this morning, and, I expect to hear back from him. I'm sure he's hearing from a lot of people, but, we stay in touch.
Coach, appreciate a few minutes. Obviously, good stuff from you. For many, many years at RPI, you were a tremendous coach, and you've had a lot of people come through your program that have gone on to do great things. And here's another example of that. So I'm sure where you sit right now, I'm sure you have a lot of players that have all done really well with their careers, and maybe it's even non-football related. You got to feel some sense of being proud to have been a part of somebody's life and then to see what they've been able to do with it. I think that's always a gratifying thing when it comes to coaching.
There's no question about it. I mean, the wins are important and so on, but if you've touched some people's lives, and I do get the impression at times that's true, it means everything.
Yeah, just to give somebody the opportunity and let them run with it, and you've obviously done that with Matt Patricia, and now he's officially the head coach of the Detroit Lions. Coach King, pleasure talking to you again. Keep in touch, and thanks for a few minutes here on Big Board Sports.
Okay, very good, Roger.
Thank
you,
Coach.
Joe.